Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
It certainly is. Welcome to Ask Rob and Rob, the show where you ask us questions and we give you answers. Normally, we at least do two. Not bad value, hey, for a free podcast. And we make it very easy for you to join in and be part of the show. You've got two ways to do it. Rob, do you want to talk people through it?
I will. So you can give us a call, 013 808 00035. That's 013 808 00035. Or you can go to thepropertyhub.net/ask. Either way, you'll be prompted to leave a voicemail, you'll ask your question, you'll sit and update your feed eagerly every Tuesday to see if we've answered your question, and one day we will have done, just like we have this week with Shane.
Hi, my name's Shane. Great podcast as always. I'm just looking to be able to price up a refurb when I'm viewing properties in a really, really quick time, because builders don't want to be coming out and giving me quotes all the time, and sometimes when I have done that, the property has been sold by the time I've got my offer in. Is there a formula that you use, or is it just a guess, or is it just experience over a number of refurbs that enabled you to estimate a price? Any help with this would be great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, Shane, thank you for that question. This is one of those questions where you're asking, but so many other people will be thinking and wondering the same thing, because it's a really common situation and it is really difficult. You're going around looking at properties. You can't get a builder out to look at all of them. You'll be lucky if you can get someone out at all to look at one. And so what do you do? Well, unfortunately, I don't have an answer that solves this problem. All I can do is reassure you that it does get easier over time. As you get more experienced and you do go through the odd property where you do get somebody out, then you actually move ahead with a purchase and you go through refurbs for real, you start to get a better idea of how things are going to cost. Eventually, you get to a point, and I'm not there, but I know other investors who are, where you just intuitively know you can walk into somewhere and just look around and go, yep, that's going to be $4,000, and you just know, and you're going to be there to within 10% or so. That takes a while though. So in the meantime, the best thing you can really do is just be really negative/conservative about how much it's going to cost. So if you're not sure, then just assume everything needs doing. So for example, say that you get a quote from someone for completely refurbing a 2-bed house. Then whenever you see any 2-bed houses in future, if you don't know, you can just assume the same price, because all houses of roughly the same size are going to cost roughly the same. You can knock a bit off if there are some things that you can see don't need doing. So you can see, for example, that the windows are fine, but you can just really err on the side of caution by being very negative and assuming that if you can't see something and you're not sure, then it probably needs to be done. Other than that, something you could do is try to find somebody who is going to be willing to come out. So if you're going to be viewing a lot, you could try to find, for example, somebody who used to be a builder or is just a bit handy, now retired, and is happy to go out and look at properties for you and write up a little report saying how much they think it will cost, take some photos, and almost outsource that part of the process. Not something that's going to be easy to find, but if you're going to be looking at a lot and it's a real weakness of yours, then it might be worth giving it a go.
I think that's great advice generally in property, to be conservative, play it safe. So you could do that when assessing a refurb, but also when you're assessing a cash flow or an opportunity or a capital growth potential, whatever it may be. Don't go, oh, well, best case it should be this, and work to those numbers or that scenario. Always play it safe. And if an opportunity, whatever it may be in property, looks good when you're being safe or conservative with your expectations, then you know you're onto a good thing. So thank you, Shane. Great question. And of course, we've got another one lined up. And our next question is from Barry.
Good evening. My name is Barry Golden. I'm from Shropshire. And I have a question for a particular subject, which is rent-to-rent HMO. Although I'm not actually an active property investor, I'm thinking about dabbling in the property market to start off with by starting rent-to-rent HMOs as a management. But also, I was interested in your comment on the previous podcast about how rentals are dominated and obviously set by the market. And if that's the case, what's the possibility of rent-to-rent HMO working when you try to increase the rental value per room by providing better quality than standard rooms on a HMO basis. Hope that makes sense. Thank you very much. Love the podcasts.
Hello, Barry. Welcome to the wonderful world of property. Glad to have you. Glad that you're investigating and looking into this. Wow, you're going in strong though, aren't you? You've just started an HMO room to room. Nice, simple strategy. Well, no, you may have guessed at my tone. I don't actually mean that. It's quite a challenging strategy to go into straight off the bat. That doesn't mean don't do it. I just want to make you aware, because a lot of people will sell, and I use the word sell the rent-to-rent strategy in property circles as a great way to get going. But remember, the reason they're selling it is it's probably easy to sell it than actually do it. Rent-to-rent requires a lot of work. It's not straightforward. I know multiple people who do it very, very well. So it's not to say that it can't be done, but all of those people would tell you that it takes a lot of work and effort, certainly in the beginning, to get going. So, Barry, just a word of warning on that. But if you accept that, then let's dig into your question, which is about, the rental demand and the market setting the rental levels. Well, actually, I think it's a really interesting question and something that we can clear up for everybody listening. Landlords do not set the market rates for rents. You're absolutely correct. But if your property is run down and you do it up and you move it into a different standard of property, so you're moving it into what you could say a different market, then that's okay. So, for example, if you're competing with rubbishy buy-to-lets, then that's the market for that, and the price will have a ceiling. But if your property is upgraded and then becomes professional lets or higher quality lets, then you're in that market now. So you've not forced the market, you've just jumped ship. So by upgrading your property, you can upgrade your rent, but you haven't necessarily upgraded the market. But Rob, you can go too far with upgrades as well. You can't make your own new market that doesn't exist.
No, exactly. I think the thing to do with something like this is if you're going to go top end, then go onto a site like Spare Room and check out the competition. See what similarly high-end places are achieving. And that is probably about your maximum. Because there's always a ceiling price, whether that's rents for HMOs or for single lets or even sale prices. There's always a ceiling. And if you go all out with marble bathrooms and really expensive furniture, you're probably not going to actually add any value. You're just going to cost yourself more money because you'll be trying to break the ceiling price. So go and see what the maximum is. And that's probably the most that you'll be able to achieve. Bear in mind also that location is a big factor, and location is so important with HMOs as well. So if you've got the nicest rooms in the best location, then that's fantastic. But if you've got equally nice rooms in a less good location, then you're not going to be able to charge as much as the one that's more desirable. So you're looking at this in exactly the right way, Barry. You're not making the mistake that a lot of people make, where you go, well, this is how much I need to charge to make the profit I want, therefore that's what I'm going to try and charge. You're going about this precisely the right way. That's just some tips there for you to take into account to make sure that you're benchmarking yourself against the right properties.
Okay, so Barry and Shane, I hope that was useful. I hope it was useful for everybody else listening as well, and you've learned something from that. If you've got your own question, you've got your own speed dial. We gave you the number before where you can get straight through to us. Or you can go to thepropertyhub.net/ask and get on the show. Be part of Ask Rob and Rob. You'll learn by getting your question answered, and everyone else should learn too. So it seems like a win-win all round. We'll be back on Thursday with the Property Podcast. And of course, we'll be back next week with some more of your questions. Until then, have fun. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.